Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. So I've been doing a lot of personal finance work and reading, and I wanted to just share some of the quotes, 62 as a matter of fact, that I found in this one, The Richest Man in Babylon. So just in case you haven't read it, it's by George S Classon, and he has some interesting things that I wanted to share. So I usually buy books still. I like to mark them up. And so I'm going to just go ahead and share some that resonated with me. So in this chapter, this character says, the reason why we've never found any measure of wealth was that we never sought it. And I really thought that, you know what? If we're going to be rich in mind, body, spirit, and wallet, we should definitely seek it. So, and then the second quote was, learn more that we may prosper more. So I really love both of these quotes. It's on page 19. And so another one, so actually it's 64 quotes because I didn't count those two. I started numbering them. Another quote, if you achieve what I desire, time and study would be required. So this is a character saying, we have to put some time and effort into what we require. And that makes sense, right? Another quote, learning was of two kinds. The one kind being the things we learned and knew, the other being in the training that taught us how to find out what we did not know. So again, just words to live by. And I would love to go into the background, but that's not what this video is about. But the book is called The Richest Man in Babylon, and I'm just giving you my clip notes on some of the words some of the sayings that stuck out to me. I found the road to wealth when I decided that a part of all I learned was I found the road to wealth when I decided that a part of all I learned or earned was mine to keep, and you will too. So I really, again, you know, we work and we pay everyone and we don't pay ourselves. So again, you know, couple thousand years ago, they knew the secret sauce. Fool, you pay to everyone but yourself. Dullard, you labor for others. So again, just reiterating that sentiment. 1/10 of all you earn. And he was saying here that we should put away 1/10 of everything we make. If you would become wealthy, then what you save you must earn, and its children must earn, that all may help to give to you the abundance you crave. And then, you know, again, he reiterate here, pay yourself first. This one's a little long, but I really liked it. Each time I was paid, I took one from 10 pieces of copper and hid it. And strange as it may seem, I was no shorter of funds than before. I noticed little differences as I managed to get along without it. But often I was tempted, as my hoard began to grow, to spend it for some of the good things the merchants displayed, brought by camels and ships from the land of the Phoenicians. But I wisely refrained. So this quote number 10, his money's starting to grow and he wants to spend it frivolously, but he decides not to. Advice is one thing that is given away freely, but watch that you take only what is worth having. So, I mean, that's hard to really decipher because people give good advice, but how do you know what's better than not? And he talks about that a little bit about, you know, taking advice from professionals. And even then, you know, you use your own judgment. You first learn to live upon less than you could earn. Next, you learn to seek advice from those who were competent through their own experiences to give it. And lastly, you have learned to make gold work for you. So again, The Richest Man in Babylon, just really some nuggets. Opportunity is a haughty goddess. Haughty. That's a terrible word. Opportunity is a haughty goddess who wastes no time with those who are unprepared. Kind of like that one. Willpower is but the unflinching purpose to carry a task you set for yourself to fulfillment. Again, just golden nuggets here. When I set a task for myself, I complete it. Wealth grows whenever men exert energy. Wealth grows in magic ways. No man can prophesy the limits of it. All right, so this is a longer one, but I'm going to read it anyway. I advise that you take the wisdom of Algamish and say to yourself, a part of all I earn is mine to keep. Say it in the morning when you first arise. Say it at noon. Say it at night. Say it each hour of every day. Say it to yourself until the words stand out like letters of fire across the sky. So people have been doing a lot of affirmations, right? And so, again, thousands of years ago, they knew what the value of those things were. Impress yourself with the idea. Fill yourself with the thought. Then take whatever portion seems wise. Let it be not less than 1/10 and lay it by. Arrange your other expenditures to do this if necessary. But lay by that portion first. Soon you will realize what a rich feeling it is to own a treasure upon which you alone have claim. As it grows, it will stimulate you. A new joy of life will thrill you. Greater efforts will come to you to earn more. For of your increased earning, will not the same percentage be always yours to keep? Then learn to make your treasure work for you. Make it your slave. Make it children, and its children work for you. So what he's talking about here is, either you invest, either you save, but definitely he's more thinking along the lines of investments. And when he say make it your slave, he's just saying, you know what, get that compound interest and let that compound interest work for you. I'm going to skip all the way to, and there's a bunch of them, the 5 laws of gold, and this one is really interesting. And I want to just read each of the laws. The 5 laws of gold. 1. Gold cometh gladly and increasing quantity to any man who will put by not less than 1/10 of his earning to create an estate for his future and that of his family. 2. Gold laboreth diligently and contentedly for the wise owner who finds for it profitable employment, multiplying even as the flocks of the field. 3. Gold clingeth to the protection of the cautious owner who invested under the advice of men wise in its handling. 4. Gold slippeth away from the man who invests in businesses or purpose with which he is not familiar or which are not approved by those skills in its keep. 5. Gold flees the man who would force it to impossible earnings or who followeth the alluring advice of tricksters and schemers or who trusts it to his own inexperience and romantic desires and investments. So here he's talking about how to hold on to your money. And so just note that there's a whole bunch of things that they talk about. Don't get confused by the language. It's not that difficult, clingeth and things like that. It sounds very biblical, but it really isn't. That was what it is. On page 97, he gives some advice to a friend who was trying to help his sister's husband. And this was the advice from the investor guy he went to. So he had gotten this money and he wanted to know if it's a wise decision to help his sister husband become a merchant. Keep thy 50 pieces of gold. What thy labor earns for thee and what is given thee for reward is thine own, and no man can put an obligation upon thee to part with it, unless it do by thy wish. It wilt lend it so that it may earn thee more money, more gold, then lend with caution and in many places. I like not idle gold, even less I like too much of risk. So here he's talking about, if you're going to lend him the money, first of all, make sure he's like an expert at whatever he's trying to go into. He's never been a merchant, so the gold lender suspects that he might not be an expert in it. But not only that, he should have something to trade or trade as collateral for that money he's trying to get. And again, he was saying here, also give him just a small portion so that he can, show you what he can do and then move forward. And something else he says to him, lend the money, but lend it not just to one person or one thing. Try to diversify as much as possible. And I think there's some really great other quotes, but one of the things that the clay tablets from Babylon is an interesting read. How a professor, having translated these tablets that were found in the desert, a college professor in England, and he ended up utilizing the words written on the tablet to get him and his wife financial situation together. So it was really interesting reading his letter about how him and his wife, this is the letter, him and his wife got their crap together. And so that is that. This last story, The Luckiest Man in Babylon, talked about a rich merchant who just, picked himself up from slavery by making work his friend. And his friend's son couldn't understand why he worked every day, even though he could enjoy his riches. But because he'd been a slave before and how work had really taken him out of poverty, he's never forgotten the lesson of work. And so it wasn't exactly 62 or 64 quotes, but I want to just, have you guys read the book. It's really a short book. It's 150 something pages. I finished it in one day because it was just such an easy read. But the last thing I want to say is Babylon is an outstanding example of man's ability to achieve great objectives using whatever means are at his disposal. So I think it was a great first read, especially in a while, since I haven't done a personal finance read in a while. My last book was Dave Ramsey's, so this is a good start. I'll keep you updated because I'm also reading Girls Who Invest, and that is a nice one too. I couldn't put that one down. It's a little longer, but it's taking me a little bit of time. So I hope you enjoyed these quotes, and I really encourage you to read the book. Good luck with your financial independence